I'm here in Medjugorje at Pizza Bar Krempi, and I'm with, what's your name?
Christopher Fortune.
Christopher, where are you from?
I'm from Ireland. I'm from Swords in Dublin.
Okay, cool. And you told me your aunt told you about Medjugorje?
Yeah, my aunt used to, when we were growing up as kids, she used to come over and visit us and talk about Medjugorje from time to time. But it'd go in one ear and out the other. We were like, nah, yeah. We had a bit of religion, but it wasn't like to the extent of what it is now today. Eventually I had a visual impairment many years later that I developed RP, which is retinitis pigmentosa, and I was involved with NCBI, which is the National Council for Blind in Ireland, and I ended up meeting a girl there who was totally blind, and we got engaged, and we wanted a place where to go, but she said she'd leave it to me, but over that period of a couple of months, I was flicking through programs. We weren't living together. She was living in the south side of Dublin. I was living on the north side of Dublin, kind of. So it was a good distance away from each other. And I came across an Irish program one night which had subtitles. So I decided, right, I'd record it just in case the subtitles went too quickly for my vision to pick up. And I said, Medjugorje is coming up next. About 4 people from across Ireland going to tell their stories. And it triggered off in my mind. I said, Medjugorje, where did I hear Medjugorje about before? It was my auntie. I remembered as a kid growing up, hearing her about it. I said, do you know what, I'm going to give this a look. And I did give it a look. And tears just streamed down my face with the stories and the testimonies that I heard from people who've been going there for 10, 20 years. And sometimes it would be some people's first time and their experience. And I felt a draw, a pull to it. And I was like, I'm meant to watch this. This is where we're meant to go. So I suggested it. I rang on the phone, the girlfriend, and I said, do you remember the way we were thinking about going away, going somewhere for our first time, like an engagement? She says, yeah. I said, I was thinking of Medjugorje. She said, I don't know where it is, I don't know what it is. She said, but there's something about the name. And she cried, and she felt the draw to it as well. And then I explained what I'd just seen, and she was more intrigued by it. And she said, yeah, let's go. When can we book? Where do we go? What do we do? She had no passport. She never flew out of the country. Like myself, never flown before out of the country. Like, never had a passport. So everything was a first time. Never been on a plane in my life. And to get on that and all of that experience was just a roller coaster ride. To get to Medjugorje, to experience the heat, to experience the people, the beauty, the peace that I felt. The moment I stepped off the coach in Medjugorje, the first words out of my mouth were, I'm home. And tears just flowed from my eyes. I was like, I felt that love and that comfort. I felt like I was getting a hug from Our Lady. It's like, welcome. Like the gates of heaven had opened up, and it was just beautiful and so powerful. And I hugged my girlfriend at the time, who was totally blind. She cried too. It was like we were just constantly just shaking there with tears just streaming out of our eyes. And we didn't know what to expect, but we just said, let's just take it step by step, baby steps kind of thing. And the people that we stayed in the house with, we stayed in Melina Ina's house, and we stayed there, and there was only a small group. It wasn't a big group, so we didn't have loads of people to get used to. It was like probably about a table of about 10 people. And they were telling us how many times they come and their experiences and where we should go if we want, we go to Blue Cross or go wherever you want. So we decided, why don't we go to the Blue Cross? And they gave us directions, because people were sitting outside and they were telling us so many things, and we said, where are we going to go? Because everybody's like, look, you take it at your own pace. There was a sister there, and she said, take it at your own pace. You don't have to do all of what has been said to you. Just go where you feel the draw to. And the draw to us was the Blue Cross. So I figured that I had the directions in my mind from what people had said, and the next morning we're actually on the street where it happened. I had overshot the mark and got directions wrong. I got to the corner just up here, And I said, I'm sure I got this directions right. And it was very early, and there was nobody about really. And up by the taxi rank, just up at the corner here, a woman in a long flowing blue dress, an African looking woman with a beautiful smile upon her face. There was just something presence about her, and it just, I don't know, there was just something emanating from her. It was just a pure peace and calmness. And what she did, we stood there. Of course, the girlfriend can't see, but I could see this happening. And she's like, "Why you gone quiet? Why you gone quiet?" I said, "Hang on for a minute." This woman walked up. She was very tall. And she walked up, and she had all the African stuff going on with the hair and the beautiful blue dress. And she went, "Blue, cross," and pointed right behind us. How did she know? I'm getting a shiver all over me. Every time I tell that story, I'm getting the goosebumps, the hairs, even the hair on the back of my neck. Would you believe that? It's emotional. How did she know? We didn't even mention the word Blue Cross. She just came out of nowhere, walked over, pointed at our dress, blue, cross, and pointed behind us. And it's like, what's she on? What's she doing? Because I had to describe to the blind girl what was going on, my girlfriend. And I said, hang on a minute, I'll tell you now, I'll explain it in a minute. So the girl just smiled and then went here, down this way, down this street. Nothing was open, she couldn't go anywhere. So I left the blind girl. I said, wait a minute, I'll just go and see where she's gone. I walked out to the corner here. She was gone in that split second. I mean, I was only about a couple of seconds after her leaving us. She couldn't go anywhere really. There was nowhere she could go. And I went back and I told the girlfriend, I said, she's gone. As quick as she came, will you tell me the story? She said, what? I said, she came, she was in a blue dress. She pointed at our dress. She said blue, and then she made the sign of the cross, and then she pointed behind us. So I missed the gap. We had to go back up to the gap, and we ended up finding the Blue Cross eventually. Going through the vineyards. It was one experience I'll never forget. And I had told people that story today who asked me as well. They said, what made you come to Medjugorje? I said, well, I tell you one of the experiences. And they were like, what? I says, yeah. And that's not the first time I've had something like that when I was with the girlfriend. Because we stayed. We got a little bit greedy in a way of staying in Medjugorje because 1 week wasn't good enough. We wanted another. So we couldn't get enough of it. We felt that if we left here, we'd lose that beautiful feeling that we got. And Medjugorje is sort of like a place of where you can come and recharge your spiritual batteries, so to speak, and prepare you for the outside world. The school of learning with Our Lady. You learn the basics here to go forward. She plants the seed. You go forward, preach the gospel to whoever will hear. And we've been doing that ever since. And unfortunately, me and the girlfriend we're not together anymore. But the NCBI, where all the people who are blind and different stages of blindness, I used to tell them about Medjugorje, and because they don't get out and about much, they go to centres, and some of them probably fly away. I didn't inquire any of that, but when I tell them the stories about Medjugorje, they were captivated about it, and they were offering money to look. Will you go light candles for me? Will you bring us some medals back? And I said, you keep your money. I bring it back for nothing. I said, it's a joy, it's a privilege to go and get stuff like that and give it to you, that you're going to make proper use of it. It's going to.
And what would you tell people who don't know about Medjugorje? Why is it so special? Why should they come here? What would you tell them? An atheist maybe, or not Catholic, a Protestant? Why should they come one time here? What would you tell them?
You come to Medjugorje, skeptical or not, you will be changed. Our Lady plants the seed, and she calls you here, and she works on you, and by the time you leave here, you will have a different viewpoint of life.
Wow.
And you will go forward, and you will not be able to stop talking about Medjugorje, because it will touch you, it will tug at your heartstrings, it will do everything, it will change you, convert you forever. You know, if your life is going in a downward spiral, come to Medjugorje, because you will go in an upward spiral. You'll go upwards in a high of spirituality. It's just a beautiful place to be.
Thank you so much. And can you ask you one last question?
Yep.
What is for you special about our Catholic faith? What would you say? What is so special about our faith?
It's the love and the peace and the respect that people have for each other in it. And everybody is here to help one another along whatever stage they may be at in their spiritual path journey with Our Lady, with her Son, our Lord and Saviour Jesus Christ. And that's what it's all about. It's all about love.
Thank you so much for this beautiful interview.
You're welcome.